So I had a question. Good boy. This is Toppy, so he's an off-the-track thoroughbred. How old are you, Tops? 2. He's 12, 20, he's 9 years old. So Toppy's a 9-year-old off-the-track thoroughbred that's been spelling for about a year, and he hasn't been re-educated or retrained. Just while before I'm going into their back legs, I just wanted to give you an example of a horse that is off-the-track thoroughbreds quite often don't like to be touched. So I'm just going to see how I go to touch Toppy here, and he doesn't like to be touched. Now he is feeling, I can just feel, so he's very tight in his muscles. He arrived, when he came to me, he had not long finished racing, and you can just, yeah. So you can see when I go to put my hand up, he doesn't want to be touched. Now this is quite common in off-the-track thoroughbreds. He's very rock solid in his neck. He'd be quite tight in his neck. Even though he's been spelling, he's still quite tight in his neck. He feels very, very, let me just say, like, he's got this big under neck, but he's very, very tight. And he's going to be tender to touch there. He's also not going to like to be touched, because when your muscles are tight and I suppose tense, contracted, it doesn't feel comfortable, and horses have their nerves are very close to their skin compared to ours. So their nerves under their skin is a lot closer to the surface. So see how I go to put my hand up and he doesn't like to be touched? Okay, so this is something that you get quite often with off-the-track thoroughbreds. How would I fix this? Okay, so first of all, I wouldn't be trying to brush like you'll often find someone might get an off-the-track thoroughbred and just start to go in and start brushing and that, and then you're going to have behaviour problems. So he's just standing there a little bit better now. Because I've worked with thoroughbred racehorses for so long, I can just feel how they feel in their body. So just looking at him, I can see that he's very sore up here. Before I brought him into retraining, I would definitely do body work on him. And I wouldn't even groom up there. So if I was going to groom him, I wouldn't touch up there. I'd actually just, what I do is I just stand here. He's had a betadine bath. He did pull back, and I was going to do, I think I've done another video actually. I was going to do another video with that. I'll do another video on pulling back. My dogs are barking over there. Come here, guys. But yeah, just an example. So now you can see how he's very sore there. So I wouldn't be grooming there. I wouldn't expect him to stand and relax being groomed there. You see he's worried. He's a bit worried about being touched on his head. I know, darling, I know. So good boy. I don't pull his head down. There, good boy. So see how I'm very gentle. Good boy, good boy. I'm not going to abruptly put my hand up, good boy, and then I reward him. Okay, so I'm not going to touch his neck. So what I do is I just try and find a little scratchy spot, find parts of his body that he's comfortable in. And then what I will do with Toppy is, I know he doesn't like to be touched there, so I'm going to start doing some body work with him. Okay, so I wouldn't even start on his neck. What you can even do is you can find somewhere that's he's a little bit more comfortable, he's not so tight. I know. Hey, so you want to, he also doesn't trust me. He's very worried, he's a bit wary. So I know. So he's licking his lips, he's just trying to work out, coming from such a demanding environment, he's just a bit wary of me. He probably has negative associations with being touched and all of that. So it's about building up some positive associations. Okay, so he from the way he's acting, he has negative associations with being touched, with being led. He pulls back. Obviously he's also, I know, I can tell he's a bit sore around here. So yeah, I know. So I'm just going to find a nice little scratchy spot there. I found a little bit of a scratchy wither. Yeah, do you like that? And there. Hey, so just building up some positive reinforcement. There, that's good. Hey, I know. Yeah, so just getting him to relax, just to build up some positive, so getting him to relax and building up a positive association with me. So I'm not going to, you know, if he puts his head up like he did, I'm not going to get cranky at him, you know, and ask him to, you know, or reef his head back down or stand up or yell like that. I'm not going to do any of that. I haven't done any work with him other than your general handling of worming and trimming and things like that, rugging. So see how I've just found, but I have had him for he's been out spelling for just under a year, probably about, it might be actually not even, about 8 months, hey? So, yeah, so we've had a betadine bath. He did pull back in his betadine bath. He's just, not a rash, hey? Okay, so just finding some scratchy spots. Good boy. Just seeing how now, yeah, I know. Hey, so he does pull back. See how I go to put my hand up and he's worried? Good boy. There. So just gently, good boy. Hey? Ask him to turn his head around again. There. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. There. See how he's closing his eye and he's relaxing? Good boy. And he's chewing. Hey, so I'd say that he could have even been maybe, you know, he could have got a hit round the head, or he may have been difficult. I'll stand to the side. One thing, you don't want to stand in front of your horses with their head there because they can knock. So there, so see how he's sort of relaxing. Okay, so I would do repetitions with this. So I will guarantee you I will come back tomorrow and he'll go to put his head up again. We'll just see. I'll just ask him to take a step back. Good boy. Let's just see how he is now. There, so see how there? Put my head there, and even though I've got my hand on the lead rope here, I'm not putting any pressure on it. So see how this time he didn't put his head up, so I give him a nice scratch. Good boy. Say good boy. Yeah. And put my hand down. You want to do repetition, okay? So if you're doing something like this, do it. You want to get 3 to 5 repetitions of improved responses. See how good boy. Now if he went to put his head up, okay, I'm not going to take my hand away. I'm just going to leave it there. There, good boy, there. Now if I took my hand away, that is teaching him that if he puts his head up, my hand goes away, okay? So that's teaching him that pressure, the pressure of my hand, even though I haven't even touched his face, removes as soon as he puts his head up. So he has learnt that. So I'll give you an example. Good boy, okay? So I'm going to, so I just hold this lead rope here so that, because he's looking at the horses and that. So I go to, I know, you're getting more comfy now. So I go to put my hand, see how he's put his hand up there? Now if I moved my hand away as soon as he did that, I would teach him that as soon as I went to put my hand there, as soon as if I move my hand away, he has learnt that if he throws his head up, my hand goes away. So instead, I put my hand here, good boy. And I'm not holding his head down, okay, I've just sort of got it there so he's not turning around to look at the other horses. There, good boy, good boy. There, good boy, you're so clever. I'm really big on positive reinforcement, okay, making them feel relaxed, trust. Horses are very tactile animals. They thrive on touch and they need touch and they relax with touch. In saying that, off-the-track thoroughbreds generally, or off-the-track, I'm not going to say generally, but some off-the-track thoroughbreds do not like touch. They're nervous, they're tense, they don't trust your hand. They can be sore in their muscles, like Toppy is here. See how he's stepping away? He's sore. I can tell he's sore in there. So before we did any riding or anything. So so basically that, I'm aware of that. And I will do body work on him, okay? We're not up to that yet, we're not even riding, we haven't even done any groundwork. I'm just, first thing I do is just, yeah, I know, good boy. Little scratch on the wither, horses love. If you find a little scratchy spot, okay, now this is going to build, so if you find a little scratchy spot like this, a little bit of a, they love, you know, you quite often see in the paddock, they love being scratched around the wither. Or actually I should say that they scratch each other around the wither. Now this releases endorphins in the horse. It actually releases, I think it's dopamine, and it relaxes them. So see how he's chewing? He's really liking that. This is an innate, they do this to each other. It creates relaxation. It's interesting, when I ride my racehorses in track work, if I get a really, well, I do it to all of them actually, but if I've got a horse that's really worked up or stressed or whatever, I'll actually, where my reins are, I'll give them a scratch on the wither. And it's just done amazing things. It's amazing how it relaxes them. Or you need to teach, see, some horses might not want you to touch the wither, but you need to teach them to enjoy it. They have lived in a very, they live in solitary confinement. I shouldn't say solid, sounds terrible, solitary confinement, but they live in individual stables, so they don't get to interact with each other. They can see each other, but they don't get to touch each other, to mutually groom each other. So they're lacking that touch, that being able to interact on a tactile basis, and that's really detrimental for horses. And that's one thing that you will find with off-the-track thoroughbreds. They can be quite detached from touch, and you need to teach them to enjoy it. In saying that, you wouldn't actually say, well, stand there, I want you to enjoy being touched around your neck, because I know, see, he's just got some very tense muscles. See, he's not even too bad now. See how he's letting me now be able to touch his neck? Okay, so just my hand is so gentle on his neck. Okay, there you go, good boy, and a scratch on the wither again. So you can see how he's starting to relax. And this is building a bond with your horse. You're actually building a positive relationship with your horse. He's going to associate a positive experience with you, and that's what you want. Okay. So that's a little tip there on why off-the-track thoroughbreds don't like to be touched and what you can do. And Toppy's a really good example. Oh, he's having a yawn even. You can see that. He's starting to relax. He's having a yawn. Oh. Hey. Now, I know that for an example with Toppy, he was rehomed by the trainers to a good home. He's got lovely movement. He's got a lot of potential. He went to a pony club home, and then he went through fences. Once again, he doesn't give to pressure. He pulled back. He actually ran through a fence. So that's an example of not giving to pressure. He was too much for them, and I was asked if I could take him on. So yeah, he's a good boy. So just an example how, even though he's got a lot of potential, he's a great, you know, he's got movement and he's got lines where he'll be a great little jumper, show jumper, or even eventing, but they need retraining. Hey, so he went to the pony club home. Had I not been available, had the people that bought him not reached out to the trainers, he could have ended up in sales yards, you know, the dogger and things like that.